Today it is Saturday, which means it is parkrun day, and we are heading off to Quakers Walk Parkrun. So Quakers Walk Parkrun is located in Devizes and it's located along Quakers Walk. It is about a 45-minute drive to the east of Bath or an hour drive to the east of Bristol. It is a 3-lap course, fairly flat one as well, so it is a decent one for a PB and it is all on hard-standing trail paths or hard-standing tarmac. As there is a hard-standing trail section, I would recommend trail shoes if you do have them. However, road shoes should be fine. In wetter weather though, I can probably see along Quakers Walk getting a little bit puddly and wet, and maybe in the autumn weather as well, when there's all the leaves on the floor, it might get a little bit muddy too. However, as it is all hard standing, road shoes should be okay. It is also good to note that the park run is dog friendly and it is also buggy / pram friendly too, so if you have either of those you can take them along with you. And there are toilets nearby as well, about a 9-minute walk from the start at the Kennet and Avon Trust Cafe. It's literally just to the left of that. It's a public toilet and they're completely free, and it is also near the Wharf car park if you do park there. In terms of scenery, the Quakers Walk section is lovely, and then you do also cut off towards some houses and it's just like a standard tarmac path around some hedges and trees. But as I was saying earlier, with it being fairly flat, it could be a potential for a PB course. But before we do go any further, if you don't know what a parkrun is, it is essentially a 5k run, completely free, and it is ran by a group of volunteers. They both time and marshal the event. Once you get to the end, you get given a finish token which you scan alongside your own personalised barcode, so then they merge those later on and send you your official parkrun time and position. So now you know what a parkrun is, let's take a look at a summary of the course. So it is a almost 3-lap anti-clockwise direction around a P-shaped course. It is pretty flat, as you can see in that top left hand corner, with an elevation gain of around 22 metres and a max elevation gain of 140 metres. Then you end off there on that right hand side. So that is a summary of the course, and now let's have a look at it in a bit more detail. So you're going to start part way up Quakers Walk here, make your way towards the north before turning off to the right hand side. So this is when it starts on tarmac. It is then a windy tarmac path past the Quakers Walk meadow towards the Index Wiltshire before you turn left, head your way back to Quakers Walk. You'll then do an almost U-turn, and then it is a complete straight all the way across to the other side of Quakers Walk. This is probably going to be going slightly downhill as well, and then you're going to do a second U-turn at the bottom of Quakers Walk, make your way back up north to where you started. You then do that another 2 times, and then on the 3rd time you're going to turn off to the right hand side here and then turn off to the left in towards Quakers Walk meadow, which is where the finish line is located. So it is a really simple course, and to be honest, you're not going to get lost. So now we know what the course is like, let's take a look at some of Quakers Walk's parkrun records. So the fastest male was Ben Cole with a time of 15 minutes and 53 seconds. Unbelievably fast, with the fastest female being Sarah Wilson with a time of exactly 18 minutes. Again, really speedy. The average number of runners is 222, so it is an average to fairly busy course, and the average time is 31 minutes and 1 second, which is actually quite slow compared to a lot of them. And so that is the parkrun records here at Quakers Walk Parkrun. But now let's take a look at some of my stats. So before this parkrun today, we have done 54 parkruns and 39 locations. So today it will be number 40. Our best finish position was 4th, which was set at Zoloni Jar, and then our fastest times range from Summerdale Pavilion at 22:32 all the way down to Riverfront at 23:10. However, since injury, we've not been able to get anywhere near those times, so today we are just hoping for a sub 25. And then we made our way to the start line, and as you can see, it is a fairly busy start, but the path is pretty wide, especially compared to that of 5 Arches and of the 3 Brooks Parkrun, which we have done, where it was very congested. But we're going to have a slow start by the looks of it. The run director's just going through a few of the rules and regulations in terms of dogs, etc. and then we're going to set off. So we are all ready to go, and 3, 2, 1, we are off, and the park run has begun. And as we said, a pretty slow start to begin with. You can see the Devizes sign there on that right hand side, well, the Quakers Walk sign on that right hand side, but we have made our way towards the top end of the Quakers Walk, and then we're going to start turning off to the right towards the housing estate. You can see there that some people are running on the leaves on that right hand side. Probably wouldn't recommend it, especially if it's wet as well, as it might absorb a lot of the water. Quite a few people were actually watching this one as well as we go around, and there were some lovely volunteers as well cheering us on. But a pretty quick start. We've got sort of going at the 5 minutes is a lot quicker than ones usually that have 200 odd park runners, so we're just trying to weave in and out at the moment of a few people so that we can get to our normal pace. And so that is that first section done. We are now going to turn off to the right. You can see that this goes now from the hard trail paths, which were a little bit wet and muddy, as you can see a few puddles there on the left, to the tarmac. There's that changeover, and you can see on the left side there, that is the finish funnel. So quick start, coming off to the right now, trying to pick up the pace to our usual pace. It looks like it is increasing a little bit, and it does increase in elevation as well as you go further north on this park run, having to dodge that bike and lamppost there. But it's still a little bit congested. We're still not going at that top speed which we would like to be going at, and it is already 1 minute and 56 seconds in, so hopefully we can start to pick it up a little bit more. So we are now 3.5 minutes in, and we're still struggling to get past people, so you do actually lose a fair bit of time to begin with. It's because of the busy start. Maybe if you get towards the front, then it's not as bad. I'd probably put myself in not a great position by the looks of it. But we're now up at the top end of Quakers Walk, so it goes back onto that trail path, and this is the U-turn, so this slows you down quite a bit, as you'll see the pace drop there at that bottom right hand corner. But we're able to pick it up again pretty quickly, and if you do want any more information on the elevation, which you can see there in that bottom right hand corner, then you can go and check out my Strava, which I've left a link to in the description below. And we are now 1 kilometre in with a time of about 4 minutes and 55 seconds. So in the end, wasn't too bad a start, not too slow, especially as we're trying to get under that 25-minute time. So if you keep at this pace, we should be okay. But the path is still fairly busy. It's a little bit thinner here as well, as you can see that you can only fit about 3 or 4 people next to each other. And because of the lighting being horrible with the dark light and the bright light above, it does make the camera a little bit fuzzy when I run in these sort of sections, which is a bit of a shame. You can also see as we are moving into autumn, well, it is autumn, you can see that there are a lot of leaves on the floor as well, which are beginning to mulch, so that is making it a bit of a muddy / slippery surface too. So if you have got trail shoes, definitely recommend them for this course. But if you are enjoying these reviews and you do want to see some more of them, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button, and then we also have the Worldwide Parkrun playlist on my channel as well, which you can check out. So that was the left hand turning there on the left, and we are coming up towards where we started. So you may have noticed some people who are running the opposite direction now. That is because they have done that U-turn, so you can see some people on that left-hand side. So whilst you're doing this park run, do make sure to stick to that right-hand side unless you are overtaking, and do be wary of the people on the opposite side so you don't collide into them. So if you have been watching that elevation, you may have seen that it has been dropping from 140 all the way down to 135. So it is a gentle downhill there. We're having to walk around that U-turn as well. So that's definitely going to be one of the pinch points at the end of the video. But we are now heading back up towards where we started, and that will be lap 1 complete. So we're running at a fairly decent time at the moment. I don't think it will be quite under that 25 minutes after that first lap, but hopefully now that it has spread out a little bit, we should be able to start to pick up our pace and maybe try and get under that sub 25. So that is a full lap done, and we are about to turn off to the right. So you may recognise this from the start as we now make our way into the second lap. There's that finish funnel again on the left hand side. We're currently about 9 minutes and 15 seconds, around that sort of time. So we're running at a decent pace right now. If we can keep this up, we should be able to get under that 25 minutes. We are back on the tarmac paths again. Lots of great volunteers cheering us on, as you may have seen there on that right hand side as well. And as I said, if it was a little bit wetter, maybe there may be more puddles, which makes it a little bit more challenging, but on today's event you could probably dodge the puddles pretty easily. So we'll keep this up hopefully, and we've hit 2 kilometers heading in towards our second lap. And as you can see, as we head up towards that top end of Quakers Walk, we are doing the U-turn for the second time, and the elevation is at its highest. So it is going up to the north, completely uphill, really gentle uphill though, pretty much flat. And then the whole way to the south is then all downhill. So we're doing pretty well at the moment, currently running at a time of about 11 minutes and 46 seconds. We've got a couple of runners around us now, but it has spaced out, so if you did want to pick up the pace, that would be fine. We're going to go for an overtake just there, and we're about 2.5 kilometers in now, so we're about halfway there with that time. So I'm hoping that if we can keep this up, it should be a sub 25 and potentially our quickest since injury. As you do make your way downhill in this section, you can feel that you are going downhill in comparison to when you turn around and head your way back up, even though it is really gentle. So you can see some people on that left hand side moving into their second or third lap. There's that tail walker on that right hand side too, who we have just overtaken. Got some quick runners there as well on the left, who are probably coming up towards that finish line or third lap. But we are now making our way back towards the south end of the park run, currently at 2.9 kilometers as well. So we've nearly done 3 of the 5 kilometers. That second kilometer was a lot quicker than the first, but that is what was to be expected due to that slow start. So you may have seen just then it got a little bit congested there with the people on both that right and left hand side. So like I said, do try and keep to the right, maybe try and keep it in single file as well where you can. I know if you're running with a friend then you might have 2 alongside each other, so that can be a little bit more difficult, but if you could hear people behind you, try and cut in. You can see now the U-turn is coming up on that front, on that southern side. So we're going to be doing this U-turn at about 3.2 kilometers, and we're currently running at a time of about 15 minutes and 10 seconds. So we're doing well. The first kilometer that we ran was 4 minutes and 58, I believe. The second one was 4:42, and that third kilometer was 4:48. So we did slow down again, which is why sometimes I think a busy start is quite good, because it stops you from going off too quickly, knackering yourself out, so that your split times just get slower and slower. And that is probably lap 2 complete just there. So that is 2 laps of the 3 done. Well, it is almost a full 3 laps. It isn't actually quite a full 3 laps. So we've only got about 4/5 of a lap to go before we then head off to the finish. So we're just going to go for an overtake here. Then you'll notice that we're going to turn back off to that right hand side. But all of the section after this right hand side, once we pass that finish line, will all be the final time we have to do it. And there we go. So we're passing that finish line with a time of around 17 minutes. So the people with the park run records have already finished their park run. I'll be running back around to have to do one more lap, and people would have already finished, which is actually crazy just how quick some people can be. We are now on the hard-standing tarmac again though, so it is nice and easy, a gentle incline as well next to the houses. In terms of scenery, I'd say it is a fairly scenic park run. Obviously the rain on the day didn't help it, but I have definitely seen some other park runs which are lots less scenic. Cute little pug there on the right hand side as well. You do get to see a lot of dogs at park runs, so if you're a big dog fan, definitely go and attend all those park runs with some dogs. And with approximately 1 kilometre to go, we have just gone past that 19-minute time. So as long as we run below 5 minutes, we should be fine. Obviously, it is usually a little bit wrong, the Strava, in terms of the distance. So we get to about 5.2 kilometres, so there's an extra 200 metres. So to be honest, we've probably got 1.2 kilometres to go before we do finish. So the time will not be as quick as it is looking right now. Another doggo there on that right-hand side, and we are now heading back south for the final time before completing a U-turn there at the end and heading our way to the finish. So with 500 metres to go, you may have noticed that we're a lot quicker going downhill towards the south of Quakers Walk compared to going uphill. Obviously that makes sense. You may see some of these orange cones as well on the left and right hand side. I think they basically tell you if there is a pothole nearby, or they might be over a pothole, to be honest, just to stop you from standing inside of them. You can see some more people there on the left sprinting towards that finish line to get their time, but we're currently running at a time of approximately 21 minutes and 50 seconds, so we're doing quite well, and it is looking like we should be able to just get under that sub 25 time. And here we go, so we're doing that U-turn for the final time, able to do that U-turn a lot quicker than the previous ones, as it wasn't as congested, and it seems that the gap opens up loads in parkrun. It's mad just how much of a difference there is between each parkrun, and there's not really that many people that are close together. But we're going to go for a couple of overtakes here. We're having to be careful as well as someone else is going for an overtake, so we don't want to collide with the people on the left hand side. So we're just going for a quick slip through there. And now is the final sprint to that finish line. Can we get sub 25? We'll have to find out. And we have got 45 seconds left before we go over 25 minutes. So we need to start picking up the pace now if we do want to get under that 25 minutes. You can see I have began to sprint, looking at my phone as well to see what sort of time and pace I am on, which is why I've got it in my hand there. But it is the final sprint. We're going to turn off to this right-hand side. You've got to be careful of the people that are going into their third lap as well, because you don't want to run into them. Just slipping around those before we're going to turn left off to the finish. What time are we going to get? We're going to get a time there of 24 minutes and 44 seconds, which is actually the fastest time since injury. And then we also get a position there of 40 seconds. So pretty happy with that one as well. And we're now going to collect our finish token and go and get it scanned. And now let's move into the summary. And that is Quakers Walk Parkrun complete, ticking off the queue on that alphabetic challenge. That is the first queue we've done, and this was definitely the reason why I wanted to do this parkrun. It was a lovely parkrun in the end, got some nice little forestry area to run through and then a meadow as well. However, the weather wasn't great on the day, but it didn't actually rain at all whilst we were running. It was just pre-running, and it was very cloudy and misty as well, as you can see from the videos. Although this one isn't going to make it onto my parkrun leaderboard, it's because of my injury. So this has actually been my quickest one since returning from injury, of the time of 24 minutes and 44 seconds. That was actually 1 second quicker than the parkrun last week, but I would probably say it is a potential for a PB, especially if you do start out near the front. In terms of how busy the parkrun is, it is a fairly busy one. As you can see at the start, it was pretty difficult to get past people to begin with, but I didn't start in a great spot. But they are quite wide paths, so you are able to overtake, and there's no real challenging bottleneck. Maybe there's a couple on that first lap as you go in towards the meadow and come out the meadow, and all the U-turns as well. They will slow you down, but in terms of how busy it is, it does space out after a while, and you have got lots of space to run. The atmosphere on the day was great too. Everyone was buzzing to be there, and I feel like a lot of people do go to that parkrun just to tick off the queue, so they probably get a lot of tourists every week too. And the volunteers who were there on the day were great too, cheering us on the whole way around. So a massive thank you to all of the volunteers, because without all of them, these parkruns could not go ahead, which means my Saturday mornings would not be the same, and you wouldn't be able to see any of these videos. And as usual, we go through a few of the pinch points for this parkrun. So the first pinch point is going to be the busy start. Unfortunately, because of the busy start, we did lose quite a few seconds. So maybe we could have done it in a quicker time than 24:44 if we were there another day and started slightly closer to the front. Second pinch point is going to be the U-turns. As you can see, there were a couple of U-turns which basically result in a walk because you don't want to either slip over or run into anyone else. So that's going to be the second pinch point. And the third one, which is probably going to be a very small one, is the fact that there are puddles and leaves underfoot. So that's going to slow you down as you don't want to slip or maybe step into a puddle. But I'd probably say that one is quite subjective to the day that you go and do this park run. So they are all of the pinch points for Quakers Walk Parkrun. But now I'm going to go through a few tips and tricks for how to get there via public transport, parking, and also that parkrun cafe at the end of the run. So we'll start off with public transport and with the trains. There is not really a train station close to Quakers Walk Parkrun, but if you do want to know the closest one is the Melksham train station, which is about a 20-minute car drive or a 43-minute bus journey to the start. If you do go by bus, the closest bus stop to the park run is the Pelican stop, so it is quite a way away still, so I definitely wouldn't recommend getting the train. In terms of buses, the closest bus stop to the park run is called Police HQ, so you can go and stop off there. I don't know what that bus stop is like, sounds pretty cool, but it is a 9-minute walk away from the start. Unfortunately though, the bus times aren't great for the start of park run on a Saturday, so you potentially may not actually be able to find a bus which does run and get you there on time. And then finally, with the public transport not being great for this park run, there is a lot of car parking space for anyone that is going to drive. But the closest one to the park run is the Devizes Sports Club, which is about a 5 to 10 minute walk from there. I believe that one is free until 11 a.m. However, there are no toilets nearby to this parking spot. The second parking spot, which I would recommend because that is where I parked, and that is the Wharf car park, and that is about a 10-minute walk from the start. However, the toilets are located literally on the way, so you can go and stop off at the toilets before heading your way to the run. And also the cafe is located near the Wharf car park as well, so definitely recommend stopping there. It costs about 90p for an hour, and it costs about £1.80 for 2 hours. And then finally, there's the third car parking spot, which I wouldn't recommend as it's the furthest away, and that's the Devizes Marketplace car park, which is about a 13-minute walk from the start. It's 80p for an hour or £1.50 for 2 hours too, so you can go and stop off there, but probably going to end up paying more and you're going to have to walk further. And finally, everyone's favourite is the post-park run coffee, so if you want to go and meet up with everyone else, that is at the Kennet and Avon Canal Trust Cafe, which is about a 9-minute walk from the finish line. And apparently coffee, tea and cake is really tasty and really good value too, so I definitely recommend going and giving that an attend. But they are all my tips and tricks for this video, and if you do have any of your own, do make sure to let us know in the comment section below, and I'll try and pin them up to the top of the comments. But now we're going to have a look at my post-park run stats. So we've now increased the number of park runs to 55 and the number of locations speeds up to 40, so we're now 10 away from getting that half cal club. Best finish position and all my fastest times do still stay the same, but I'm happy because that has been my quickest since injury. But I do hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, do make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, as it does go a long way for the channel and I appreciate it a lot. But if you do want to go and check out last week's park run, we headed over to Shepton Mallet Park Run, which you can find by clicking on the link here. Or if you want to go and check out all of my other park runs, you can click on this side, which has got the worldwide park run playlist. Tomorrow, I'm still not sure which park run I'm actually going to be going to, so we'd have to find out on next Friday which one I did attend in the end. But I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.